spouse and deployed service member. The force that brings newborn and new parent together through a delivery room video chat. And the force that makes sure our military, serving 7,000 miles away, gets to watch the big game from a USO center. We get to be the force behind the forces, connecting them to every comfort of family, home, and country possible. It's a good feeling to make a difference. Visit uso.org/force to learn how you can be the force behind the forces.
Talk 1470 is WWNN Pompano Beach and 95.3 FM W237BD Boca Raton. The Health and Wealth Radio Network, 1470 AM and 95.3 FM. The Health and Wealth Radio Network. Don't miss the Save a Lot Nutrition Hour with Al Foreman and Janet Cimarelli. WNN.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, tune in to the Dr. Bob Martin Show. From erectile dysfunction to eczema, heartburn to headaches, carpal tunnel to how to lower cholesterol drug-free. Sunday mornings at 10 on Talk 1470 WNN.
Thousands of people around the world are learning how extra money can be made from home at Online Trading Academy. Learn about stocks, options, futures, and Forex. Here's a trading tip from one of the instructors.
You see what we've done at the Academy? We've taken this and we've simplified it down to just the basic factors that you need. There's a set of rules, follow them. There's a scoring system. If it scores greater than 7, take the trade. Set the trade up, walk away and forget it with 3 major components: a stop, an entry, and a target. If you don't know what those mean, come in, we'll teach you those.
Online Trading Academy. Learn the right way to trade stocks and more. Thousands have learned how extra money can be made from home and how risk is limited. See how it works. Reserve a pair of seats at a free half-day class in Broward and Palm Beach. Call now. Online Trading Academy, 561-674-9800. 561-674-9800. That's 561-674-9800.
Talk health. Talk wealth. Talk politics. Talk 1470 and 95.3 FM. WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show with local celebrity host Steve O. Sit back each week while Steve O educates you with live in-studio experts, such as lawyers, doctors, home improvement, and financial experts in their field. Call in and have your questions answered each week at 888-565-1470. Now, here is Steve O with today's expert in their field.
Good afternoon. Hey, it's the first Thursday of the month. That means it's K. Bender Rimbaum time. So if you want to give us a call, give us a call here. You guys have gotten really cocky in the last year. 888-565-1470. You can either listen to us on 1470 AM or you can listen to us on 95.3 FM. Give us a call. They'll be more than happy to answer your questions. We've got Robert K. and Michael Bender, senior partners of K. Bender Rimbaum.
Hello, hello.
Good afternoon.
Hi, guys. Wow, there's a lot of stuff going on. Give everybody your website because they can actually go to your website right now and watch you live.
Our website is kbrlegal.com. kbrlegal.com is where you can go to watch the show. You can live stream it. You can watch prior shows. And you should be calling us here today at 888-565-1470. Let's get those phones ringing.
You know they will. So who's going to tell us about your practice? Oh, we've already got a call.
We'll have to talk about our firm later.
Who's on the line? We don't have any names at all. Can't do silent in. I guess we'll just go to the first caller. Hello, caller.
Hi, this is George.
George, okay. How you doing, George?
I have a question for the attorneys.
That's why we're here, George.
Make it hard, George. Okay. They need a hard question.
The question is the following. In our condo docs, we have a provision in there that a owner to rent a unit once in 12 months for 6 months, period. and they can only do it for that point in time for the calendar, the 12-month period. Now, here's my question. My question is, if a person, a unit owner, rents out the units 4 to 6 months, and the person moves out after 4 months because of breaks the lease or whatever, can that person re-rent the unit for 6 months?
Generally speaking, from what you've read in your documents, I would say likely no, without being in violation. They had their one opportunity to rent for the 6 months. They entered into a lease. It's the owner's risk whether or not the tenant stays there for the whole 6 months, so the owner should be making sure in their own screening of their potential tenants that they're protecting themselves and making sure that they're going to get the full 6 months.
Okay.
If the board were to make an exception to that, if there's nothing in the declaration that provides for that, then that could risk not being able to limit anyone to 6 months, because that would amount to a selective enforcement situation or a possible waiver of the restriction. So we don't recommend the boards necessarily try to get around that.
Okay. All right. Good. I got my answer.
All right, George. Thanks for calling.
George.
Call again. I think we have another call. Chuck. Let's go to Chuck. On line 53.
Chuck dropped.
Okay, he dropped.
Chuck, call back.
All right, the phone number here is 888-565-1470. If you want to know anything about HOA, we have the best law firm here, K. Bender Rimbaum, community association attorneys, and it seems like every month we get more and more calls. Okay, I think we have Chuck back.
Or somebody.
Hung up. Okay. Not there. Okay.
Not there.
Is he there?
Okay,
All
so
right.
we got to...
I think he's on.
Chuck?
My name is Chuck.
Hey, Chuck.
Listen, I'm calling a general question regarding condo associations, and specifically people coming in new regarding renting, or more importantly, new owners, and the potential for an initiation fee or some kind of additional fee beyond the application fee to charge new owners coming in to contribute to the overall reserves or capital fund. Is that legal, or is there a way to do that?
Is he a condominium or HOA, did you say?
He said a condominium.
Okay, then we know that. You know how the state is going to handle that.
Well, what you're talking about is referred to as a capital contribution, and that is an item that is in controversy and differing opinions among various people in the state, not the least of which is the Division of Condominium. The Division of Condominium takes the position that all that an association is entitled to on the transfer of a unit by sale or lease is $100 as a transfer fee and nothing else. Notwithstanding this, many documents have been written through the years, many years, that provide for a capital contribution in the declaration upon this transfer of a unit that's different than the application fee, has nothing to do with that. And that has been done by many associations throughout the state of Florida. That being said, if that is being done in your condominium and somebody were to make a complaint to the Division of Condominiums about it, the likely result would be that the division would find a violation beyond the $100 limit. So the board is in a position of deciding whether or not they want to take such a risk and continue with this capital contribution. Is there more you want to add?
I was just saying then, so that being the case, Chuck, you want to talk with Association Council about possible creative ways to address the funding without running afoul of the law.
Or at least the division.
Okay. I understand everything you said. I appreciate the response.
All right, Chuck,
Okay.
thanks for calling.
Let us know if we can help give you those creative ways.
Good question.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
I think we have another call. Yes, we have Cameron.
Cameron.
Hi, Cameron.
Yes.
You have a question for the lawyers?
Yes, I do.
I was wondering if, we're in a condo situation and we haven't any rules like this before, but can the board, if they want to, just make some rules that, you can only smoke in, say, certain parts of the common areas of the condo, whether it's like certain parts of the pool or not on walkways, things like that?
Cameron, thanks for calling. Generally speaking, the board of directors in a condominium does have rulemaking authority over the common element areas. Whether it requires membership approval will be dictated by the governing documents of the condominium. If membership approval is not required, then the board would have the sole authority to create rules for, again, governing the common element areas, like you said, the pool area, etc., lobbies, etc., and could pass rules that preclude smoking or prohibit smoking in those areas. If the rule was to if they want to extend the rule, or excuse me, if they want to extend the no smoking to the entire building, including the units, that would require an amendment to the declaration approved in accordance with the declaration itself, which likely would require then membership approval. But to limit the areas, like to say, hey, no smoking, the designated smoking areas only in the common element areas would be a valid and enforceable rule if the board had the authority to make such rules in the docs.
All right, great. Thank you very much. You took care of my question.
Thank you.
Everybody's got quick questions today.
Good questions, though. And that no smoking question is very...
It's never been brought up before.
No, it's, well, not here, but it's something that's becoming more and more prevalent. Prevalent.
Hey, if you'd like to call and talk to Robert or Michael, phone number here is 888-565-1470. We usually start off the show by just introducing the firm.
Ourselves.
You've been introduced, but tell us about the firm.
The firm is K. Bender Rembaum.
And we had someone ask, do you cover all of South Florida?
And we cover all of South Florida. We actually, K. Bender Rembaum, as you mentioned, we are a community association law firm. And what that means is that our firm practice, and I'd say it's in excess of 90% of the practice, concentrates in the area of representation of community associations, the cooperatives, the condominium associations, the HOA associations. These are corporations. They're not for-profit corporations, but they are corporations, and they have boards of directors that govern them. And we are retained as general corporate counsel, our corporate clients being the associations themselves. And in that capacity, we handle all corporate work for the associations, soup to nuts, which, just by way of a common examples, would be interpreting governing documents, updating governing documents, creating or drafting, negotiating, or reviewing contracts, enforcing covenants, rules and regulations, the collection of delinquent assessments when owners are not paying their assessments, whether regular or special assessments. We assist in the aggressive collection of those. And when matters, we have construction defect related matters, litigation related matters, breach of contract matters, covenant enforcement litigation, all of those. So it's general day-to-day operations. As I mentioned, it's all the things you handle on a day-to-day basis.
Which is huge.
In a community association, it's collection, foreclosure for associations, and it's general litigation, breach of contract litigation. So it's everything. And we have clients that go Ocean Reef. In fact, we have a client even further south in the Keys, all the way up to Daytona and heading out west toward Naples, so Naples, Fort Myers area. So we are, I wouldn't say we're statewide, but our main concentration is Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade, but we do have clients who are sprinkled out in other areas as well.
Well, the number one question is, where do you practice? So I thought I had to get that one in. We have on our Ask the Experts, you can go to anytime. It's Ask the Experts radio show.
Well, we currently have offices in Pompano Beach and Palm Beach Gardens. Palm Beach Gardens. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we get a lot of email from Dade.
We have a lot of clients in Miami-Dade.
A lot.
Oh, we're not that far.
You got a lot of things coming up, including an expo.
We do. And by the way, just and our offices are very conveniently located right off of the main highways, 95, the Turnpike, and even off of 75. So that's why it's very easy access to. We have many clients throughout the Miami-Dade area Homestead, Miami itself, downtown Miami, even across Aventura and Hallandale and Doral. So, we are...
Shout out to Doral.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let's just add to this. Service is so important to your company. And I noticed that the first time I came to your office, 3 women up in the front, just at the front, and by the cars out there, you've got a lot of people that work with you that can service clients. So customer service is very big to your firm.
Well, it's of prime importance. When you're hiring in a community association
Not always the case.
Thankfully for us, when you're hiring a community association law firm, what you want to be looking for, obviously, is do they have the experience? Is it not necessarily something that they do in addition to a bunch of other things, but in my opinion, it's something that they concentrate in. It's like us. And there are others out there who do that. I think what helps set us aside is the customer service aspect. The biggest grumbles I hear when I go out to meet with a board who's looking to either to change counsel is that they're dissatisfied. They're not getting responses from their lawyer, or the responses they get are wishy-washy, or not giving proper guidance. They're nickeled and dimed. These are the types of things, as a law firm, Jeff, Robert, and I have preached since for the 25 years the firm's been in existence continuously, of the importance of the customer service aspect. If the board is going to bring us in and they're going to take a chance and hire us, which is we are coming in as a vendor, like any other vendor, and as a vendor, we expect the board should have expectations. And each where vendors offer different services, what they should have from each vendor is excellent customer service. And as your law firm, what that means is when you reach out for your lawyer, they're accessible, they're responsive, that they provide opinions for you that are in English, easily understood, and that they give you proper guidance, give you fully information, give you all the options, the cost-benefit analysis, so when you sit at your board table and make your business decisions, they become fully informed. They're fully informed business decisions that you can feel confident in the opinions you've gotten from your counsel, because it's not a maybe, it's not a this, that, or the other. It's clear. If there's a recommendation to be made, we'll make it. And it's also important to know that you don't be afraid to reach out to your counsel. Just because you send an email or make a phone call, there's not a meter running. It's not a taxi service that you can reach out and get some quick questions and have a comfort level to know that your lawyer is there for the long haul, and that's our objectives. We still have client 1 that Robert started working with in 1992, so remains a client of the firm to this day.
Actually, 88.
That was unnecessary.
So before we go to break, let's go to have a caller.
Sure.
Let's go to Dwayne. Hi, Dwayne.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I had a question about websites. I'm in an HOA, and I've heard rumors that maybe we're supposed to have a website, or is that a law for websites or just condo associations? Or
now, the bill that passed in 2017, which takes effect July 1st of 2018, unless there's a change in this legislative session, is only applicable to the condominium association. So if you, as an HOA, have a website, it is purely voluntary.
And a good idea.
Right. And it is a good idea. And what you choose to put on the website would be something you should discuss with your association counsel to make sure that you're putting up documents that should be put up and not documents that are considered attorney-client privileged or otherwise confidential.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah, your comment earlier about cost-benefit analysis from the management companies, something I've been thinking about in that regard.
Sure.
As far as a website.
Now, is there something pending?
It's going to cost us. So I just wanted to know if we were required or not, so appreciate that answer.
You are not now. There is a bill that's been proposed up in Tallahassee this session to drag that website mandate into the HOA Act, Chapter 720. So that's something you want to keep an eye on. If it's something that you are not you don't desire to have mandated, you desire to be able to have the option of having a website and putting up materials, then you'll want to reach out to your local legislators and let them know that while the website's a good idea, it shouldn't be mandated and the state shouldn't be parenting to us.
Okay,
my opinion.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks.
Thank you, Dwayne. And for condominiums that this does apply to, currently the benchmark number is 150 units. So
correct.
If you're less than that, you're not obligated to do that. But if you're more than that, you should be working on that now.
You should run one anyway.
Well, it is right for the times.
Take a look at Bender Rimbaum's website. That's a good start right there because you have an incredible website.
It's a very good website.
KBRlegal.com.
Hey, let's go to break, and we come back. We have more with Michael and Robert.
Is your community association looking for prompt, effective, cost-efficient, and understandable legal advice and services? You'll find that and more with K. Bender Rembaum, a full-service commercial law firm concentrating on the representation of more than 800 community associations throughout Florida. With offices in Broward and Palm Beach counties, K. Bender Rembaum assists clients in all matters of association representation, including but not limited to collection of assessments, contract negotiation, covenant review and amendment, covenant enforcement, and construction defect claims. Under the direction of attorneys Robert K., Michael Bender, and Jeffrey Rembaum, K. Bender Rembaum is dedicated to providing clients with an unparalleled level of personalized and professional service regardless of their size and takes into account their individual needs and financial concerns. For more information, visit www.kbrlegal.com or call 954-928-0680.
They're 8:15
Hey, so we're back with the Ask the Expert show. We have the K. Bender Rimbaum law firm with us. We're talking about HOA Community Association. If you have a question, especially if you're a board member, 888-565-1470, 888-565-1470. If you have a question for them, give us a call. So we were talking about
education.
Yeah. And you guys, I remember when you started talking about Expo last year. You had an expo you did, and I think it was in Miami.
Well, we did. There's 6 expos by a company called L&L. They do them in 3 in October, and then usually 3 in the March-April timeframe. And they are in Palm Beach County, Miami-Dade, and Broward.
Okay.
Well, this year, the Palm Beach County Expo, it's a Palm Beach County Community Association or HOA Condo Co-op Expo, is February. The Miami-Dade and Broward will be in April, and we'll talk about those then next month.
So that's this month.
But it's next Wednesday, the 7th. It's February 7th at the Palm Beach County Convention Center on Okeechobee Boulevard, I believe that is. So, and it's an all-day event. The trade show hall opens at 10:30, goes till 3, and we'll have a nice booth there. And several of our attorneys will be there throughout the day, and we encourage people to stop by our booth.
You speaking again this year?
And then in the morning, Jeff, my partner Jeff Rembaum, will be teaching a class on guest restrictions and some other interesting topics. And then in the afternoon, I will be teaching the legal update, going over those legislative changes from last year, including the website. And that's, I think, 2:30 to 4:30. So from 9:30 to 10:30, come in here, Jeff, teach his class at the Palm Beach County Expo, then come into the exhibit hall and spend some time with us during the day. And then my legal update starts at 2:30.
These are must attends.
Right, and all these are open to board members, and they should definitely come out. But and your community association managers will earn their community association, their CEUs, their continuing education units that are required for their licenses for both of those classes. So we'd love to see everybody out there. And like I said, stop by the booth. We'll have several different attorneys from our offices, both in Palm Beach Gardens and Pompano, who will be there throughout the day, answering questions, giving
mainly
some
board
guidance.
Members? Is this mainly board members?
It's both. No,
And
a lot of
managers.
managers go out there too.
Okay. For someone who hasn't been to one of the expos, can you tell us a little bit about them? What will
I just
people...
did.
Well, I mean,
it's a trade show.
It's a trade show.
Okay.
So the exhibit hall will have
But
a couple
there'll be other
hundred
people
booths, let's say.
speaking.
Well, there's classes throughout the day. A lot
different
of classes.
topics. It's not
a lot
all
of different
law.
topics. And so I'm telling you, though, at the 9:30 hour, when there might be 2 or 3 choices, Jeff Rembaum's your best choice. Come hear him speak on a very interesting topic, and he's a great presenter. At 2:30, when I do the legal update, that's where you want to be to get your legal update credits, which all managers are required to get, and to hear about the changes in laws and how they've been applied since they took effect July 1st of last year. And also I'll talk about, because we're in session now, and I'm actively involved in the legislative through CAI, the Community Associations Institute, I'll talk a little bit about what's pending, what's looking like it's pending, and so we got, it's a nice 2-hour program. In between, the trade show hall is open, and there's lunch served inside there, and
all-day event?
Yeah. And if you're interested in attending, you can send an email to info@kbrlegal, that you'd like to attend the trade show, and I will happily send you an invitation where lunch will be on us. So you can, if you're info@kbrlegal.com is how you can reach out to us for that, or if you'd like, if your board wants a free consultation, you're looking at either adding new counsel or adding additional counsel or possibly changing counsel, happy to come out and meet at no charge. But like I said, if you want to come to the expo in Palm Beach County, well, lunch will be on KBR. Just you need to make sure you send me an email by Monday, and I'll email you back an invitation.
Give me your booth number again.
I don't know the booth number.
214.
The booth is 214.
How do you know that?
Because it's given in the paperwork, right? Booth 214 in the exhibit hall, and there'll be there's a lot of other vendors. There's different construction-related vendors and banks, and as far as if you're looking at interest in financing any projects, by way of example, there's a lot of opportunity to walk up and down the exhibit hall after visiting us or in between visiting us, and see a lot of other exhibitors as well. So come to the classes, come exhibit hall. It's all free to attend.
And you're giving away some kind of a door prize?
Seriously, that's what that says?
It's giving away a new Cadillac. One of those little bitty soapbox ones.
Most booths will give away a door prize. Yes, we will have a door prize.
The promotional code is KBR1.
KBR1, there you go.
Ring a bell for you guys at all?
Okay. There you go. Well,
it rang that bell.
Steve just saved you the hassle.
Yeah.
When you register,
Split it with me.
When you register, type in KBR1, and you should get your free lunch on us.
Okay. So now you also do a lot of other classes besides the expo.
So many.
We do. Do you want me to read them?
And I think, listen, you guys giving back is amazing. I mean, you're always doing free classes throughout the month. So what's going on in February?
Well, these are the ones that will be in our offices in Pompano Beach on February 13th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Funding construction projects, loan assessment, and reserve spending.
May I talk about that for one moment?
If you really must.
I do. Because if you are actually listening to this and you are a board or a manager who is considering at any time in the near future a project which might require a line of credit or a loan or a special assessment, you should come to that class. Lisa McGill is going to be presenting the class from our office, and it is an outstanding program, and it's a must. I can't tell you how many I handle most of the bank loans that our associations take out, at least through the Pompano office, and because the banks require an opinion of counsel in order to allow the loans to close, at least in most instances. And in order for us to give that opinion of counsel, there's a lot of T's that need to be crossed and I's that need to be dotted. And if the process is done from the beginning, from the time you start looking at it, and you just let us walk you all the way through, it's super smooth. But if you come to us on the 11th hour and say, hey, we need that opinion of counsel, and you don't have everything done, you're not closing on that loan. It might have to be extended. Your interest rate might get lost. And then also there's ways if you have to do special assessments, how that works. So it's a great program. I encourage everyone to come out. It's we've just started giving it toward the end of last year, so it's one of our newer classes. But as we do, we ask what do people want to hear about, or we see areas where we feel there's deficiencies in education, and we offer that. So
now space is limited, so you want to make sure you reserve your seat, and you can do that by calling the office at 800-974-0680 or writing to info@kbenderlaw.com.
So they can go to your website.
Or seminars at kbrlegal.com.
Well, we always take callers first. They get first right.
Go ahead.
So let's go to Linda.
Wait, I have more classes.
Just hold it. We're going to.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, how are you?
Doing
Good.
well.
I live in a 28-unit condo, and for the first time, the board hired a management company. The annual meeting is usually the first Monday in February. Well, this new board and management company, they haven't sent out any notices, and we had a meeting last night. And they said hypothetically they can have the annual meeting in December if they want. So my first question is this true? They can have it any time they want, even though it says in our bylaws it's the first Monday in February.
Well, it's not exactly true what they're telling you, but it's not exactly false either. Now, you are required to comply with your bylaws and have the meeting when it is indicated. But if the board does not do so, and but does do it at some later time during the course of that same year, there is very little in the way of legal damage or exposure to the board for doing it incorrectly. It's a technical violation that somebody would have to be able to show actual financial damages, that they relied upon it, bought tickets from out of town to come in, things of that nature, which we almost never see. That being said, every effort should be made to do it on the dates that the documents say. There is some recent case law in the last year or two that chastised an association and for not doing the meeting in accordance with the bylaws. So there is that exposure that if somebody takes it that far into litigation, that the association could be found to have done something wrong. Now, exactly how that's resolved in the courts will depend on the circumstances.
But then the association itself, we owners could be fined, correct?
Unlikely the owners would be fined, but the expenses that the association incurs in dealing with any legal action of that nature is likely coming out of all the owners. So there is that concern as well. If there's an election challenge, that would first go to the Division of Condominium through the arbitration section, and that would be something that might resolve it sooner by just filing the action. Also, bear in mind, if there's been no first notice sent out, there has to be at least a 60-day notice of an annual election first before you can hold one. So if it hasn't happened yet,
I was a secretary. Yeah, I was a secretary.
Well, and as one of the, if in fact the position of the board and this manager is, hey, we can hold it whenever we want.
Right.
And there's not, but they're only saying that to try to, puff up or prove a point. And they're going to put a notice out so that the meeting will be now in April instead of February. I think that goes in line with Robert saying you have a technical violation, but that 2-month delay doesn't really cause anything. But if they're dragging this thing out and enough of the members want an election, then you can contact the local offices of the Division of Condominiums and report the violation, and the division would likely then send a notice requiring them to notice the meeting within a certain time frame, as opposed to waiting till December.
I see. Okay, yeah. So go to the local offices, Division of Condominiums.
Yeah, there's agree, and in fact, there's agree. Like Robert mentioned, the arbitration, which is true. That's where challenges would be posed if there was an election challenge. But in this case, you could go and file a grievance that, hey, our bylaws require an election be held. They're refusing to hold one. We want the election properly noticed, and demand that want you to demand that they notice it.
Right. Yeah, because we asked them at least send the notices out, and they don't want to do that yet. They're just using all kinds of excuses.
Is this the board or the manager that's holding things up?
No, I believe it's both. The board and the management are like in cahoots. I mean, we just hired this management company, and none of us wanted it. We wanted a second choice. But they went ahead and just did it anyway. And the management company might be fine, but it's just it's not going well right now. Just they came in with a bang, and it's just like we'll hold the meeting when we want. And I know they're putting off the meeting because we want that guy off as president. And I was going to ask you, recall, I guess there was some legislation last year, so if we get so many signatures, majority signatures, he's taken out immediately? That's what I read. Is that correct?
Well, the change in the statute isn't changing that aspect. It has always been a majority of the owners can recall any member of the board by a written agreement. What had changed in the statute last year, there was a procedure to allow the board to challenge a recall that's been delivered that was removed.
Right.
So it's kind of up in the air as to how that works. If the board chooses to ignore a recall, what avenue of recourse do the recalling owners have? That's the problem with the changes in the legislation last year. The owners can bring an action for arbitration themselves, but that is something that can be complicated for owners to try and undertake. So often that becomes not their best choice. If they have to hire an attorney, then they're out of pocket, and that's a concern as well. So recall is always an available option, except for within 60 days before or after the annual election.
Oh, it can't be before or after the annual. Okay. So
60 days. So if that hasn't happened, you can certainly start that process. You can go to the website of the Division of Condominium and get the form of the agreement. It's fairly self-explanatory. Just make sure you don't pre-mark the recall boxes. Let the owners do that, and then get enough signatures and present it by certified mail or a process server. And then within 5 business days, that should be a done deal.
Okay. Certified mail or, what did you say, processor?
Certified mail or a process server like you would have for a court case.
I see.
Certified mail is the most common way to do it.
Yeah, that sounds, yeah, okay.
Okay, we got to go to break. Hey, Linda, thanks for calling.
You so much.
All right, Linda. Good luck.
Norman, stay there. We're going to come right back to you when we come out of break. We'll be right back.
Bye-bye.
Is your community association looking for prompt, effective, cost-efficient, and understandable legal advice and services? You'll find that and more with K. Bender Rembaum, a full-service commercial law firm concentrating on the representation of more than 800 community associations throughout Florida. With offices in Broward and Palm Beach counties, K. Bender Rembaum assists clients in all matters of association representation, including but not limited to collection of assessments, contract negotiation, covenant review and amendment, covenant enforcement, and construction defect claims. Under the direction of attorneys Robert K., Michael Bender, and Jeffrey Rembaum, K. Bender Rembaum is dedicated to providing clients with an unparalleled level of personalized and professional service regardless of their size and takes into account their individual needs and financial concerns. For more information, visit www.kbrlegal.com or call 954-928-0680.
Hey, we are back. You have the Ask the Expert show. We're here every Thursday from 5 to 6. The first Thursday, though, in the month is our K. Bender Rembaum show, Community Association Attorneys. You can call us if you have a question for them at 888-565-1470. I believe we have a caller, Norman. Hi, Norman.
Yes, hello. Yes, hello?
Yes, we hear you fine.
Okay. Our condo association has built up over the years a revenue surplus that's sitting on the balance sheet. Is there any restriction how this excess of revenue over expenses can be used this year?
Well, under the law, Norman, surplus revenues is required to be handled in one of 2 ways. Either return the money to the owners or credit it against future assessments. And one method of crediting it against future assessments is by incorporating it into this year's budget and reducing the amount that the owners will need to be paying on a monthly or quarterly basis, however you do it. There are potential tax consequences of just sitting on the money, so the board should be consulting with the association's accountant to make sure that they haven't put themselves at risk of owing taxes, which is would basically be a waste of assessment money.
Okay. Is there any Florida statute as to a association running at a deficit in 1 year? In other words, not providing a balanced budget.
Well, 718 does require the association to assess for its needs, and that contemplates there not being a deficit. And you're obviously not supposed to use reserve funds for purposes other than what they're being reserved for without a vote of the owners. So running at a deficit could jeopardize any reserve funds that you may have just to pay your bills. So that's something that should be avoided.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, thanks for calling, Norman.
Thank you, Norman.
Thank
Keep
you.
listening.
We have a line open now at 888-565-1470.
While we're waiting, let me tell you about some more classes. On February 7th, in our Palm Beach Gardens office at 6 o'clock, till 8:30, we're going to be offering the homeowner board certification course. So,
which you can attend right after the expo.
Right after the expo. That's a full day of education. Space is limited there as well, so you want to be sure to reserve your spot. You can do so by emailing Tricia, Trisha, at kbrlegal.com. Or you can call 561-241-4462 or 1-800-974-0680 to reserve a spot. Then on February 21st in Palm Beach Gardens, there's the Condominium Association Board Member Certification course, also from 6 to 8:30 p.m. These are important courses that are required, not necessarily required to take, but certainly recommended to take in order to meet the legal obligations of the statutes in both condominium and HOA. And on February 27th in the Pompano Beach office, we'll have the Condominium Association Board Member Certification course at 6:30 to 8:30. So those are two courses you'll want to consider. And then on February 28th in Palm Beach Gardens at 6 o'clock is the 2018 legal update, the changes in the legislation from 2017.
So if you can't make the Palm Beach County Expo for the legal update, then
You have
definitely
another
go to
opportunity.
the Palm Beach Gardens office February 28th. So you have two opportunities in the Palm Beach County area.
2 CEO credits for that one. And then, of course, we have the Ask the Lawyer.
My favorite.
Which is coming up.
Well, we have
We
one
don't
next
have the February one.
February 6th, which is Tuesday.
Yes.
Tuesday this
Tuesday
week.
evening at the Art Serve
Serve.
in Fort Lauderdale. 6:45 start time. And we'll be, and that's on Sunrise Boulevard, and that's our Ask the Attorney Town Hall series. Robert and I very much enjoy doing that. It's our 10-year anniversary. It's our 10th annual of doing
You've
these
been
shows.
doing this for 10 years?
10 years, yes.
Well, it hasn't always been Ask the Attorney, but that's been
Tell everybody
most of
what it was, because I went. It was fabulous. Tell everybody
about
what they
to.
do there.
I was trying to. You're just trying to like wedge some words in because we're talking too much, right?
I'd rather you guys do all the talking. I had 3 hours this morning.
Yeah. No, we Robert just mentioned a lot of great classes that we are offering in our Palm Beach Gardens and Pompano Beach offices. And again, everything free. Our space is limited. Please do RSVP. The Expo, the classes there, also free. All of those classes are set agendas. They are topics that the classes outlines will go over, and they will focus on those for the hour or 2 hours that you're in the class. The Ask the Attorney program that Robert and I put together 10 years ago is a town hall format. So what that means is the attendees set the agenda. And so if you're coming to this class, know that we don't have questions in advance. We don't have a subject matter. We are asking you, when you come, bring your questions, bring your topics. Know that we're not looking at your governing documents. So don't come and ask a very specific question about, hey, is the pipe in my building my responsibility or the association's? Or is the pipe in my building the association's responsibility of the owner's? Know that, but do come with topics and questions. And then what we do is we ask the attendees, give us a topic, give us a question. And we will start with that. And usually the question, like someone might ask a question about access to official records, and that will then piggyback onto other questions about official records. And we'll try to spend, 10, 15 minutes at most on any one subject matter, usually a little bit less. But we do stem off and try to answer the questions and give some general informational guidance on those subject matters, and then we'll move on to another subject matter, and Robert and I both are there and answering these questions about 2.5 hours worth of Ask the Attorneys. It's all free and it's great. So the big difference there, though, is the attendees set the agenda. So you can come to many of these programs. As we mentioned, next Tuesday, February 6th, we'll be at Art Serve in Fort Lauderdale. On Sunrise Boulevard, and then a month later on March 6th, 4 weeks later on March 6th, will be the same time, 6:45 at Sugar Sands Park in Boca Raton, which we'll talk about again next month.
I promise you will be asking questions you never thought you were going to ask.
And it's not a lecture.
No.
It's very much a give and take.
And sometimes it can last up to a couple hours.
Oh, definitely. Always lasts a couple hours.
And we have other, and we will always encourage, obviously there are board members who also have backgrounds, but also if you are a manager, certainly come out. And if you're in the community association insurance industry or community association CPA, those types of professions, we will call you out in the beginning because we want to know that you're there, because these questions, when they come up, obviously Robert and I will be happy to give the legal advice and legal guidance. Sometimes, though, there's an overlap. And part of that is we want to encourage them to be able to get a full answer. So if there's an insurance-related question and you happen to be a community association insurance person, then, hey, guess what? You might be called to the floor. And if any of the vendors out there who work in the industry are interested in sponsoring any of these events, you can contact me through info@KBRLegal or mbender@kbrlegal.com about sponsoring any of these events.
And when you sponsor, you have the opportunity to speak to the attendees about whatever services that you are providing. So it's a worthwhile
When I was
venture.
there, you had a cable company, does cable TV.
Consultant.
Cable consultant, yeah.
And it was really good. It's really interesting. So
free commercial.
Yeah. But all these classes you provide, they're all free. You got to make reservations. Give them your website address.
It's kbrlegal.com is where you can go to the website and you can see the schedule of events. And I believe there might be links that you can register right on there. You can always email seminars@kbrlegal.com. If you do, please make sure your name, your association, what class you are interested in RSVPing for, and then we will contact you to confirm it and also remind you.
So, and you can, if you were listening to the show today and you got a phone call in the car, you can actually go to your website and watch the show this evening so you don't miss anything. And again, right at your website,
kbrlegal.com.
Okay, so we
One
got
more
the classes.
commercial.
We got the classes.
Oh, I thought you were going to commercial.
Well, I guess we should.
Let's get that last break in.
Okay, let's go to our last break. If you got a phone, if you would like to ask a question, 888-565-1470. We still have 15 minutes left.
Is your community association looking for prompt, effective, cost-efficient, and understandable legal advice and services? You'll find that and more with K. Bender Rembaum, a full-service commercial law firm concentrating on the representation of more than 800 community associations throughout Florida. With offices in Broward and Palm Beach counties, K. Bender Rembaum assists clients in all matters of association representation, including but not limited to collection of assessments, contract negotiation, covenant review and amendment, covenant enforcement, and construction defect claims. Under the direction of attorneys Robert K., Michael Bender, and Jeffrey Rembaum, K. Bender Rembaum is dedicated to providing clients with an unparalleled level of personalized and professional service regardless of their size, and takes into account their individual needs and financial concerns. For more information, visit www.kbrlegal.com or call 954-928-0680.
Hey, we are back. Of course, this is the Ask the Expert show. The first Thursday of the month, we have the K. Rimberg show. And we've got Michael Bender. We got Michael Bender here and Robert K. And as you can see, they love answering questions if asked to do with community association, HOA. This is basically all their firm does. So let's give out your website address, because you've got such great educational information on there. And I've seen a lot of websites. Whoever does your website does an incredible job.
No, thank you. It's KBR, the initials, kbrlegal.com, Legal. And if you're on the website and you're looking around, up at the top, you click on a button, Resources, and then a drop-down will take you to our Legal Morsels or our Rembaum's Association Roundup, which is a series of articles on various topics of interest to associations, which is available to anybody who wants to read them.
Someone actually asked us if they would like to talk to you about working with their condo association. Do you come to them?
We will go to them at no charge. They can come to us and see our operation, also at no charge. We will go in the morning. We'll go in the nighttime. We'll make ourselves available to the boards at their needs and requirements, and we're happy to do that.
Okay. So, yes, they will come out and see you. I would go see them so you could see the operation. That's the great part about it.
Also, I want to add, if you're a group of communities, master and subs, or just a bunch of communities in the area that you want to have some education, we would also consider coming out and doing a group education course. Which reminds me, next Thursday, February 8th, I will be teaching the condominium board member certification class.
I'm so glad you remember that.
Yeah, in Sunrise Lakes Phase 3 Clubhouse. We have a few communities that we represent in there. They've asked, would I come out and do a class? And said, of course. And an invitation was extended to all of the Sunrise Lakes communities, and they offered to extend it to outside as well. And that's, of course, free. If you're looking for private classes, that's something we can discuss. But if you're looking for group classes for multiple communities, whether it be one of our fair housing classes or anyone that we've mentioned, or just the condominium or HOA board member certification, then please give us a call.
Okay.
So how would somebody get to the Sunrise class?
They can email us at seminars@kbrlegal.com, indicate they want to come to the Sunrise, the condo class, February 8th, 6 p.m.
In Sunrise.
And in Sunrise, yeah, Sunrise Lakes.
Hey, let's take a call.
Just so we know.
Hi, Catherine. Catherine?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you fine. Thanks for calling.
Okay. Thanks for taking my call. So at my condominium board's last meeting, there was a discussion on if it's required to allocate parking spaces for handicapped people. So I was wondering what condominium rules require what do my condominium rules, well, I know you don't know my condominium, but what I guess it's probably required to, provide disabled people with parking spots, obviously.
Well, it isn't as obvious as all that, Catherine. The way it works is when the condominium is developed, it has to meet whatever code is in place at the time. And if your condominium was developed at a time when handicap parking spaces were not required and you don't have any, you're not required to add them under general circumstances. If you're going to be doing a reconstruction project or redoing the painting of the spaces, and you need to get a permit from the local agencies, the city or the county, then you may be in a position of having to incorporate handicap parking at that point, which is not a condominium requirement. It's just under federal laws, and then that trickles down to the local requirements. If you get a request from an owner that is handicapped for an accommodation for their handicap to provide them with a handicap space, that's a different issue, because generally handicap parking in condominiums is more for guests than it is for the residents. But in that instance, if you have assigned parking or under fair housing laws, you would have the requirement to provide for the accommodation, with the owner having to bear any costs that are associated with changing the parking spaces, so long as you can without interfering with the rights of others.
Okay, thank you. I don't feel as silly asking my question. Yes, thank you.
All right, Catherine. Thanks for calling. Keep listening.
Wow.
Will do.
So, this class you were just talking about that's coming up that you're going to be teaching?
February 8th.
With this group or cluster.
Mm-hmm.
What will you be teaching in there?
That's the condominium board member certification course. And that's Thursday night, February 8th, 6 o'clock, Sunrise Lakes Clubhouse, Sunrise Lakes 3 Clubhouse in Sunrise, Florida. And it is open to residents, board members in Sunrise Lakes or board members outside of Sunrise Lakes. Any managers who want to attend, you get two continuing education credits. But you do need to RSVP. And you can do that by calling the office at 800-974-0680 or emailing seminars@kbrlegal.com. Give your name, your association. If you're a CAM, let them know that, and which event you want to attend. In this case, that it's the Thursday, February 8th condo board cert in Sunrise.
Is there a lot to know or understand when election time comes up if you want to be a board member? Because you've basically probably never done this before. It's all going to be new. Is the election process, is that very difficult? Is that something somebody needs to be educated on?
The election process itself?
Yeah, like if you decide...
In a condominium setting, it's very statutorily driven, far more so. Although HOA, they're trying to make it more driven by statute. But if you ask in a condominium setting, there are, and we're going to presume that you're talking about condominiums that are larger than 10 units, and all of this applies, where you have a notice. There's two notice requirements. You have a first notice, which must be mailed out at least 60 days in advance. That woman had brought that question before. At least 60 days in advance of the meeting date, you send out a first notice with a letter, with a document that's essentially a notice of intent to be a candidate or something along those lines. And the notice itself indicates that we're having an election in 60 days. If you want to be I'm clearly paraphrasing, but if you want to be a candidate, and fill out the attached form and send it back by the deadline date that's set forth in the letter, which should be 40 days before the date of the election. And that 40th day, what you need to know if you're interested in running for the board, whether you're a current board member and you want to run again, or whether you're someone new wanting to run, that 40th day is the cutoff. If you don't have your candidate notice of intent to be a candidate in writing to the association by that 40th day, even if it falls on a Sunday, it doesn't carry over to Monday.
Even if you're already a board member.
Even if you're a board member, you need to, if your seat is up, you need to put a notice in if you want to run again. And that by that 40th day, you have your notice of intent to be a candidate. If a candidate has any monetary obligation to the association, even a single late fee, fines, they cause some damage that they haven't paid back, any assessments they owe, any monetary obligation on that 40th day, they don't get their name on the ballot. But if they're otherwise eligible, and they have their intent in, then within the next 5 days, they can put any candidate can give a single 8.5 by 11 sheet of information, like a resume of who they are and why they want to be elected, and then that sheet, along with a ballot and a small inner envelope that's anonymous, just says the word ballot on it, and then a larger outer envelope is mailed along with the second notice. And this, of course, presumes that there's more candidates than there are seats. If there's 5 seats open and 5 or less put their name in, well, there's no election, those are the board. But if there's more, then you do the second notice. The second notice goes out with this other information, and then the individuals who are able to vote would fill out a ballot, put the ballot inside the inner envelope, put the inner envelope in inside the larger envelope, and then the owner who is the person designated as the voting rep for that unit signs the outer envelope, puts their unit number on it, and then delivers it in time for the election. Then the election...
It's all universal. Same no matter where you're at.
In a condominium setup, they are universal. HOAs are different. Condominiums are universal in that fashion. And...
HOAs, you need to check your docs.
Right. And one thing that we do as a firm, for all of our active clients, once a year, we send out a form every July or August. And we ask our clients, if you'd like us to prepare your annual meeting notice package, once a year we'll do that at no charge.
Wow.
We don't have an annual fee to be a firm client, to be a client of the firm, but we will also do, in addition to giving legislative updates, we will also do an annual meeting package one time per year at no charge. And again, for active clients of the firm, obviously, as a thank you for being an active client of the firm.
And you get it right.
Right. And it's important that way. And this way, and it helps management companies too. It's a burden off of them, because what we'll do is we'll prepare everything and then we just send it over to the management company or the self-managed board. All they need to do then is make the copies and do the mailings. And, we don't give them the envelopes either. They have to get the envelopes. But we'll make sure anything you need to copy and mail is correct, and we'll give you a cover letter that tells you what you need to do when you need to do it.
As long as you're an active client.
Correct.
Okay, so we're coming to the end of the show. I want to say one thing. We got about 20,000 people listening to this show. Everybody tonight, keep your daughter, Robert's daughter, in prayer.
No, daughter-in-law.
Daughter-in-law. Close.
Son and daughter-in-law.
Yeah, because she's getting ready to deliver, and congratulations.
She's giving birth to my first grandson, so...
He's going to be a grandpappy.
Okay, but anybody, keep her in prayer. And... give everybody your information.
Well,
if they want to call the office.
Right, last time, you can go to kbrlegal.com, which is, like, as you mentioned, I do think it's a great website. Lots of things to view there, and you can reach us through the website and there's a box there to fill out if you want a consultation. Reach out to us there. info@kbrlegal.com is the email, and 800-974-0680. And you can reach Palm Beach Gardens or Pompano Beach through that number.
Have a good
Jay
month.
Bender, Rimbom.
See you on the 1st of March.
Happy Valentine's
We'll
Day.
see you next month.
Thank you.
We'll be back next week, though, with Ask the Experts. Everybody have a good night.